Welcome back to the Frizz and the Grease podcast with your hosts, Trudeau and D.
Welcome back to the podcast. It's your boy Trudeau. Thank you for joining us live or on podcast the next day. It is Tuesday, October 17th. Big fun show in store for you today. We're talking basketball, people. NBA is right around the corner. We're going to get you ready for the season with a little bit of preview talk, over-unders, and we're going to play a fun NBA-related game called Still in the League. But first, got to throw it to my co-host, D. Frizzy Frizz himself. What's up, buddy?
What it do, baby, man? Happy Tuesday. Long week already. We've only been here 2 days, but long week already, man. How's everything with you?
I am doing fantastic. And by the way, speaking of fantastic, we are in fantastic shape. Guest today, second time guest of the show, Sloan Piva of Sporting News. He's a sports writer, people, a sports analyst. He's going to bring all the knowledge. Sloan, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me back. Great to be here.
I am so psyched you're here today, especially since you joined us last time. It was like 2 months ago, maybe a month and a half ago. You've gone big time. Like you are, since you were with us, I'm dead ass. Like he was on the #1 fantasy basketball podcast. He's been on ESPN, radio. So ESPN radio, but still big time. So I'm glad you can still hang with us common people.
Of course, man. I got to remember my roots. You guys are awesome. I got to say, I've been on quite a few shows, but yours is one of the highest production values that I've seen. You guys put so much into the looks and the sounds, and you're so well spoken and always well prepared. So it's I got to give you your props. Your day is coming.
I love it. It's because I just have a little soundboard with the little colors and just press the colors. It's really fun, actually. You should try it one time.
You got to have the sound drops. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, so we're going to have a good show for you today. I'm very excited to talk basketball. D's a big basketball fan, although he's a Lakers fan, so there might be some animosity on this show today.
Can't wait.
We already got into it a little bit in the pregame. He's telling me to stop holding on to the 2008-2009 Celtics championship because
so we don't got to keep it off air. We can bring it back here. So like I said, I seen it on Instagram, I believe it was. There's no fan base or team in the history of sports, and sports have been around forever, right? Let's go all the way back to like when the first one started millions of years ago. The 2008 Celtics and their fans are the only team that hold on to a championship. It's like that one, it was 15 years ago. I don't want to just say get over it, but my goodness, like it's every year. It's you got Paul Pierce coming in, like if we were around now, like, we get a championship. You got fans that are just like, yo, Banner 19. It's like you've been alive for one. Like you're just as good as the Nuggets. Like, come on. But no, you guys got to have your moment. Thankfully, I've been alive to be able to see 6 of them things, so I'm happy over here.
We talking about this Paul Pierce?
Okay, they got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.
Did you see that hit Sloan when he was with KG, by the way?
Oh, yeah, that was the best. KG was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, bro?
Wrap it up. We got to get to commercial.
I will say, like, Sloan, and you can get in and disagree or if you want, but I feel like the reason why we hold, and I'm saying we proverbially, I'm not a Celtics fan, but the just KG and like that anything is possible. Like if it wasn't for that, I feel like, I don't know, that just kind of made like a folklore about that championship, like all those moments leading up. And did he shit his pants and Paul Pierce shit his pants in that championship run?
Yeah, well, that's what people say. That's what he says people say. But KG was one of the most tenacious, most passionate players in Boston history. And I think it's the same reason why people are a little upset when Marcus Smart got traded, even though the Celtics are a much better team now after their trades. People like passion. So KG just harkens us back to the days when everything was good and when a good team could actually take it all the way. So it remains to be seen if this good team can do that. But I guess that's one of the things we can talk about.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely a fun NBA season. I have no talking points between you Lakers and Celtics talk right now, because I am the sad Magic fan who has never won anything. So we got that.
Womp. You need a sound drop for that. Womp womp.
I'm on it. I'm on up to 2s and 3s. Let's get it. All right. So the first thing we want to do is we want to have fun with this NBA podcast episode. I asked the guys to write down a few little jots of things that they personally found to be intriguing to them, like storylines or players that they really want to see play out in this season, things that they're looking forward to personally. Since you're the guest, Sloan, I'll let you get your first one off. What is one of the top things you're excited for in this upcoming NBA season?
Well, I'll go right back to it. I mean, the Celtics have probably the best 6-man rotation in basketball. And I think the question is, will they stay healthy? How can they make midseason moves that will improve them a little bit? Will they have enough depth, especially at the big man positions, to actually contend? Because that's been a problem in the past with them. If they got Luke Cornett playing significant minutes at center, I think we got major issues. My boy, jumping and bobbing and weaving and jumping 15 feet away from shooters and stuff, making people laugh while they're stroking 3-pointers. But it's a great squad. The Drew Holiday, I think they gave up a lot for, but I think he's an amazing defender, and I think he brings a lot of leadership, quiet leadership to this team. So I definitely enthused about the Celts, and of course the Celtics and Bucks rivalry is renewed with Drew, former Buck, coming over to the Celts. He got traded right after saying he wanted to be a Buck for life. So I think he'll have a little extra dog in that fight personally. And then I think the Bucks are going to be a fantastic offense, but I think they might have taken a couple of steps backwards defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out in the East. The Philly drama. I mean, there's just so many storylines in the Eastern Conference. It's a wild thing to see.
I will say, like with the Celtics personally, I think that's one of the biggest storylines. How will injury affect them? Because, like you said, great 6-man depth, but they're going to have to rely heavily on guys that they haven't relied on before. Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, other guys. Are you a believer of the Celtics this year?
I am, and again, I give my my grievances with the Celtics. I always like to talk shit just because of the New England side of me. But they have like Sloan was saying, the top 6 rotation, right? Like that is a really good team. It's 7 after. That's the problem, especially when we talked about like what is going on in Phoenix. When you got KD, you got Beal, and you got Booker, and then you're like, who else? Well, right now, Celtics got their starting 5. They may have that 6-man off the bench, but if their success is going to be dependent on the guys that aren't called the Jays, I get nervous with that. Meaning, it doesn't matter how good Jason Tatum is, doesn't matter how good Jaylen Brown is. They're both all NBA. What's that?
There's 3 Jays now.
Yeah, whatever. Not Drew. We're just saying Jason and Jaylen. But essentially, those 2 are all NBA players, and your season doesn't depend on those 2. It depends on the health of the other players around them, and that's just that part is scary. Where you could have MVP level Jason Tatum, you could have all NBA Jaylen Brown, but if Kristaps Porzingis goes down, that's a big problem. If Drew Holiday misses time, that's a big problem. So like that's my only like nervousness around this team this season.
Yeah,
Right, so
absolutely. They don't have tradable assets either. One guy goes down, like you said. I mean, what are they going to do? They're not going to. They don't have back end roster flexibility to just flip people with picks. So if once they start this year, the player trade exception that they have, that goes away. So it's they're kind of all in with this, and if things go wrong, then they're gonna have to hope that they get something in the buyout market or flex on people at the trade deadline with picks. But good Lord, it's a scary thing, but it's a very exciting thing for sure.
Yeah, I was trying to look up the picks that they own currently, because I think of all the top contenders, they're not in bad spot as far as their arsenal, right? Like they're not completely depleted. Am I right on that one, Sloan?
No, they've got plenty of picks. Just the problem is they just extended Pritchard preseason MVP Peyton Pritchard. So they're not going to be able to flip him. And then, probably going to have a tough time flipping Horford, but I think they're going to hold on to Horford anyway, just because he's such a defensive specialty for against Giannis and
Just about to say that. Yep.
Big players like that. So yeah, I think they kind of just got to ride it out and hope that if they do encounter any injuries, they sign somebody in the buyout market later on, a veteran that wants a ring.
On the bright side, your roster today is not your roster at the start of the playoffs. So they can make moves, they can add through free agency like buyouts or trades. D, for yourself, what is one of your more intriguing storylines you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to these rookies, and obviously we got Wemby, like that's number one. The reason why I'm saying that is this is a lot of hype. Like we talked about the amount of we didn't get a chance to talk about because social media was just now kicking off when LeBron James came into the league. We kind of got a little bit of a taste of it with Zion. Zion kind of fell off the face of the earth, unfortunately, with injuries and missing time. But like now it's back with Wembanyama. Like we're seeing things, at least from the preseason, like the dunk that he had that made the dude like look over, was like, what the hell is going on?
Thomas
like,
Bryant.
Yeah, like Thomas Bryant been in the league for a couple of years, right? I know that he was with the Wizards. I don't know if he's still with the Wizards now, but like he was with the Lakers at one point. He's with the Heat. But like it's a big dude. He's 7'4", right? Something that we've never seen, be able to dribble down the court, pull up mid-range. People saying he's Kevin Durant. Like he's got all these like moves. It's a lot, right? So I want to make sure, and I hope that it plays out the way that it's supposed to, the way that Zion was supposed to, because he's got a good field against him, right? You got Chet coming back. This is why I say the rookie field. You got Chet coming back as technically a rookie contender for Rookie of the Year. You got Scoot. You got Scoot that has the keys now that Damian Lillard is gone. You got Brandon Miller, who's actually looked pretty decent in preseason. And obviously the Thompson brothers just keep dunking on everybody. So like I think you have a better rookie class already, not just like saying because it's Wemby, but just like the class 1 through 6 compared to where we were last year talking about this with your boy Paulo Banchero and essentially nobody else because Chet got hurt in the offseason.
I got two questions follow-ups for you, Sloan. Number one, first, D mentioned a bunch of rookies this year, and I'm curious what your take is on the betting lines for Rookie of the Year, because I know it opened up with Wemby being this massive minus like 200 favorite, and now he might be getting plus money. So people are really liking some of the other rookies. So I'm curious your take on that. And then secondarily to that, from day one, when I started talking about Victor Wembanyama, before we can even pronounce his name, he was the biggest hater because like he doesn't like hype. And I'm curious, your take as someone who's watched basketball for a long time and does this, analyst for a living, is the hype justified?
I think the hype is definitely justified. I mean, this guy has massive talent across the board. He's got a skill set that we just never seen with a guy his size and length. So he's already doing things in preseason that we've never seen before. And 7'4" guy grabbing a steal from a point guard who's thinks he's got the ball secured. He's starting a fast break and then throwing it down at the end of the break. It was just I couldn't even believe my eyes. It was like something you'd see in like a video game if you had the cheat code or something, or if you put it on rookie mode. But just the way that he can handle the ball, his passing vision, which is underrated because he's so good at everything else. His instinct defensively and his ability to shuffle his feet defensively like a guard, and just his quick, his second hop, not that he even really needs to hop because he's got a standing reach of like 8 feet. I mean, it's outrageous. It's not even fair. He's an alien. He's been made in some factory or something. It's pretty wild. But that being said, I don't know if I would put money on him for Rookie of the Year just because it almost seems like so much of a storyline, too much of a storyline, that it seems too easy and that something's going to happen to screw it up. It's kind of like Christian McCaffrey and Justin Jefferson, like winning Offensive Player of the Year. Like, I don't know if I can trust the favorite ever these days. And then, you've got Craig Popovich, who has said that Wembanyama has improved this organization and made this organization more valuable than it's ever been before, and this is an organization that's won a ton of championships, and they're evaluating this team and saying that they have a valuation of $500 million. I can't even say that. $500 million since he got there. Like that's how much he has improved the value of this team. They're not going to run him out there for 70 games. So, he doesn't need to play 65 games to win Rookie of the Year. That's the one award that is the exception for the 65 game minimum thing. But at the same time, Scoot Henderson's going to play 70, 80 games, and he's going to have a huge role in Portland. So, I mean, I don't trust going after the front runner in that award when Scoot's going to be gunning for it all year. And Scoot probably has that thing on his shoulder that's like, hey, I'm pretty nasty too. Come watch me. You don't have to put me in your primetime games, but I'm going to ball out. He's replacing Dame. Can you imagine coming in as a ball-dominant point guard and replacing Damian Lillard? I mean, he's going to take a lot of shots up there. And then you got Chet Holmgren, who's eligible for Rookie of the Year as well, and he's pretty nasty as well. And the Thunder are going to be a lot better than the Spurs. So, I love the idea of Wemby. I've seen him going in like the late second round, early third round of fantasy drafts, even in expert leagues. But I want to put my money on him for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think for me, it really comes down to defensive stats for Wemby, because he's going to have a growing learning curve offensively. They're trying to figure out how they're going to play Wemby on the court. I just think defensively, he's a weird player, as our buddy Shea would say. He's a weird type of player, kind of like, and this is not comparing him to Bol Bol, but I watched Bol Bol look like a defensive monster in Orlando for 15 games last year, and they figured out how to kind of play, adjust for it. I just think Wemby's something that no one's ever seen before on a court, and players are going to have a tough time adjusting to kind of like, oh, he can block that, he can steal that. So, I think Wemby's best chance of winning Rookie of the Year is being an absolute monster defensively, which he's capable of. Speaking of our buddy Shea, which I'm sure he's listening on podcast the next day, as he does when we talk basketball, my first most intriguing storylines of this season, and this will perk him up, is Cade Cunningham. I wanted to go hipster on this pick. And for me, it's like he is a guy who, coming into the NBA, people thought had Hall of Fame level potential. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but potential to be that caliber player. And we know, I don't know which GM or coach had said this in the past, but kind of when the player gets to year 3, you know who they are and what they are. He's entering that year 3, a pivotal year 3 for Cade Cunningham. Hasn't really shown a lot so far. He's had flashes, but injuries have derailed him, and also just being in Detroit never helps. So I'm curious to see, can Cade Cunningham break through the wall, the proverbial wall, and solidify himself as a top 35-ish NBA player, kind of like fringe, like maybe not an all-star, but someone who at least their names mentioned at least once around the conversation.
I think you'll see a better version of him because of the talent that is around him now. Not to say that the Pistons are like a fringe Eastern Conference playoff team, maybe not even a play-in, but they drafted obviously one of the Thompson brothers. We saw a revitalized Wiseman, at the end of last season, and obviously we have the preseason this year. I think they have one of the Bogdanovich brothers, Bohan. You can potentially get something out of a Marvin Bagley III. I'm not saying that they have a great roster. What I'm saying is he's got better players around him that you might allow him to at least elevate. It's not just him where it was last year.
All white guys with the last name with Vich, they're not related, by the way. Just
Bohan Bogdanovich, he's not Bogdan's brother.
They are not related. They're not even from the same country.
Missed that one by a mile. My apologies.
Both great shooters, though.
I was supposed to say they play very similar basketball. 3-and-D basketball for both of them. But missed that one.
I would say, was it, which one's in Atlanta? Is it Bogdanovich?
Yeah.
He has more handle. He can do a little more than both. The other one, I don't know. They're Bogdan and Bogdan.
Bohan is in Detroit. He's a spot shooter.
Yeah.
He did more for them than I think anybody expected last year. I mean, last year he was actually taking the ball off the dribble and creating his own shots, which we never saw in Utah. He came through in my dynasty team for the in the aforementioned Shay's Dynasty League. But yeah, I love Cade. I'm with you, Trudeau, and I'm with Seamus as well. Cade has such a massive potential. I mean, we only saw him in 11 games last year. But he averaged 21 points, 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.7 blocks. I mean, it's the sky's the limit with him. He shoots good free throws. He gets to the line because he's very athletic and has that quick first step. He's got a strong burst. He's got good court vision. So, him with Monty Williams as a coach, I mean, that's like an unbelievable pairing right there. And I think that like you said, the team, the supporting cast around him has gotten a lot better. So I think Cade is going to be a fringe all-star if he can play enough games this year. So I'm with him. I got a few fringe all-stars though. So
I definitely want to get to those. When I think of Cade, I think in a similar vein, and you'll perk up with this one with Zion, where it's like, we know the potential is there with these guys, but it's like, can you put it together for a full season? And that's what I want to see for Cade, because maybe Cade's one of those guys that just we keep saying potential. And whether it's health or just bad coaching, bad teammates, whatever, it just never kind of comes together. And we look down like, oh shit, Cade's 26 and he's never been an all-star. Like, I just don't want that to happen to him. So like year 3, super important for the NBA for a young player. You should have taken a big leap by now, and I want to see Cade rise to the occasion.
Left tibial fracture. I mean, he had to deal with that. It's something that he had to go into the knife, fix it. And if you tried to just rest or load management like LeBron did with his injury, it would have ended poorly. So, yeah. He had to do it, and here he is. Time to make up for lost time.
Well, I'm sure the people aren't here for all Cade Cunningham Detroit talk. Is that for Seamus? So, Sloan, what is your next most interesting storyline / player to watch this season?
I'm wondering what the Knicks are going to do. We're hearing a lot of trade rumors swirling around the Knicks. Obviously, a lot of trade rumors involving Julius Randle, RJ Barrett, some of those young players that might be seen as assets to other teams, especially if they're paired with picks. Will we see Donovan Mitchell end up there? Will we see Karl Anthony Towns end up there? I think the Knicks have showed a lot of promise under their coaching, and I think that they're actually going to be a surprise team. So you might actually see some stars want to go over there by the end of the season or by the trade deadline. So I'm keeping an eye on them, see what's going on over there. But yeah, I've heard so many different trade rumors coming out of that camp.
The Knicks are always the perennial team because they have so many draft assets, and they're rumored to be in the hunt for everyone. I know they were a big rumored like, ooh, Giannis maybe go to the Knicks, but I don't know. They added Dame, so it increases the likelihood Giannis signs. D, for me, the answer is no, but D, do you buy the Knicks as a big mover this season, or do you think they're going to probably stay pat potentially with what they have?
That's news to me. Obviously, Sloan has a little bit more feedback when it comes to like the ins and outs. I didn't even know that the Knicks were thinking about moving any pieces or anything like that. There's always talks about Julius Randle being on the go because he's been on the go everywhere he plays, essentially, especially how he performed in the playoffs last year. But I thought they were trying to run it back with this team. I think RJ Barrett kind of outplayed his potential last season. I think he's a little bit better. He played a little bit better last season compared to the previous years. You get another year of Jalen Brunson, which, he continues to run the offense. I just feel they are a piece away, but I don't know if they're a piece away if they give away assets. See what I'm saying? Like, I think they take a step back, not to say Julius Randle is like the end all be all, but like he is the all NBA player type on that team. So you get rid of him, and you're going to most likely have to get rid of another piece to bring in another all NBA player. Who are you getting in return for? I feel like you're going to get another style of Julius Randle, lower end all NBA third team player. And does that really move the needle for the Knicks? I don't believe it does.
It all depends. Is Minnesota going to hold on to Cat? Are they going to keep that Cat and Gobert thing together? does New York trust Jalen Brunson to take another step forward? Because in my eyes, Jalen Brunson was an all-star last year. If I had a vote, he would have been the all-star there, not Julius Randle. And I don't think that's even a hot take. I mean, he was absolutely nasty. But 17-8 after they acquired Josh Hart, because that was the leadership that they needed. They needed somebody that would come in, get their asses in shape, and give them some direction and some order. And Josh Hart's not a big scorer, but he gives his all to every single play, and he's going in there and hustling for rebounds that Julius Randle doesn't get in the playoffs, and that he's making defensive plays that Julius Randle doesn't make. And I think sometimes it's addition by subtraction. You got Julius Randle taking shots at the end of games that he should not be taking. He's taking 3-point shots too. Use your bulk, use your strength, get down low, draw a foul. I've seen so many different Knicks games get ruined by Julius taking last-second shots and then barking for a foul from the refs. So I'm over him. I think the Knicks have a lot more promise with, if they can get a good piece back for him. I agree with you, D. They need to make sure that they improve if they unload him. They can't just, flip him for a downgrade, because they're a team that can win now if they put it all together.
For me, it's interesting you guys mentioned Cat, because when I think of Tom Thibodeau, Cat is the least compatible player I can think of. The Mr. Grind you down coach, and Cat, who's historically people believe him to be a soft player.
I don't think it's just a belief. I think it's a fact.
Greatest 3-point shooter ever for a big man, but I will digress. Just so we can get to the other topics, I'm just going to rat out my last things I was interested in this offseason. You guys can throw in the hat a couple you want to do. Obviously, James Harden, like, how does that end up? At this point, my personal belief is that he ends up by playing at least a portion of the season with the Philadelphia 76ers. I know there's some sort of contractual obligation where if he doesn't play, he cannot become a free agent next year. We'll see if he ends up by getting shipped away. The Thunder, for me, interesting, right? Because everyone's like, ooh, they're up and coming. They're going to take this leap. Oh my God, the Thunder. But are they? So are they going to live up to those expectations? And then finally, I am curious as hell to see what happens with the Dallas Mavericks, because it's been a circus there. They acquired Kyrie. They pretty much tanked out of the playoffs last year and out of the play-in. What are the Mavericks going to look like? Is it going to be more of a shit show, or is it going to be something that's worth watching? So those are a couple of things I'm interested in. I don't know if you guys have any brief comments on those before we ask you guys your last thoughts on the season. D, did you have anything that excited you out of those?
No, not really. To tell you the truth. Sorry.
The Mavericks are going to suck. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They might make the play in and then lose, but it's a bum mentality when you got Kyrie in the house. We've never seen Luka hang his head down as low as when Kyrie was there, and Kyrie basically said he didn't care. He didn't care that they were losing, whatever. And Luka, I hate to say that Luka is easily influenced by the people around him, but Kyrie is a magnanimous character. He's a larger than life character, and for whatever reason that I don't know, the players around him tend to like him. And when you have energy that's that bad, that foul, it can affect the team in a major way. I just told you about Josh Hart, how his high energy and high character affected the Knicks in a positive way. Well, Kyrie affected the Mavericks in a negative way. And they were the 27th ranked defense last year with Kyrie. And they got rid of Dorian Finney-Smith, who was their best perimeter defender. So what are they going to do now? They can't defend anybody in the half court. I don't think they have a good coach. And, they lost a couple of their spot shooters that stretch the floor. So if you have any injuries with Kyrie or Luka, who they rely on so much to win games, then they're absolutely screwed. So I'm pounding the under for them. I think their over-under is like 43 or 45. I'm way under, and I'm betting them to not make the playoffs.
I was going to ask you, was that going to be one of your picks for the next segment, over-under? I'm going to look up the number. I think
Spoiler!
I'm so glad that you just hit exactly the points that we had talked about, or I tried to talk about when we were doing this last year, right before we had someone come on the show and say that the Mavericks were going to win the NBA championship.
Oh my God, that dude was
out of nowhere. But yeah, it was like, look, like not to say that like he's a bridge burner, but wherever Kyrie goes, the team is in shambles, and the Mavericks are no different. They were, I think, the 6th seed or the 5th seed before he got there, and then they missed the play-in. Like, I'm not gonna say it's all his fault, but like, there's history behind us. We're going on 5 or 6 years of history, dating all the way back to the way that he left Cleveland, and it just repeats itself and repeats itself and repeats itself.
Yeah, I mean, they were 38 and 44. I mean, that's just so rotten. I mean, granted, they didn't have a center, an NBA caliber starting center, and they didn't have people that can knock down threes, and they didn't have defense. But
hey,
yeah.
Can I tell you? Can I sell you on a in shape, motivated Luka?
No.
He's actually in shape this year, guys. Look it up. He doesn't have his beer belly to come into the season. D, last couple of ones for you. Anything last that we haven't gotten to that kind of has you intrigued for the season?
Yeah, because I went into the mud with them last year saying you just don't want to play them in the playoffs, but I don't have the same feeling. Dude, I feel like the Miami Heat are going to take a significant step backwards. They lost out on the sweepstakes for Dame. They lost out on the sweepstakes for any free agent. They lost, I think it was Max Strus to the Cavs, and they lost Gabe Vincent to the Lakers. They got worse. And yeah, I understand that like they were really good. You know, they hit that hot run that I said, hey, this is a team you don't want to play in the playoffs because they're just gonna beat you up. But they're getting older, they're losing their players, and they're losing that mentality. Like, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, Jimmy Butler did his thing in the offseason to make, the jokes for media day and whatnot. But I just don't like that they're losing players and the East is getting stronger while they're going backwards. So I just don't see them being anywhere near how they were last season. I think this is a team that you may see bottom tier playing, maybe even miss the playoffs this year.
Yeah, but they were playing last year, and look what happened.
I just don't see it. Not this year. No, I don't see it with this roster that they have, especially because they missed out on free agency. They literally put all of the chips to the side to try to get Dame Lillard and missed out on everybody.
To just defend the Heat, and I'll let Sloan get in really quick. I don't think they built this team, nor do they pride themselves on being a whatever seed and having regular season wins. This team is built specifically to be a pain in the ass in the playoffs and grind you to death in a 7-game series. So if they end up with an 8 seed, 7 seed, I don't think they really care as long as they can find playoff success.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the Lakers and Heat both prove that you don't really need to have the 1 seed if you show out in the playoffs. But I kind of agree with D. This team definitely didn't improve very much. I mean, Josh Richardson is an okay addition because he's a 3-and-D guy, but I just don't think he's a game changer for them. I think that they lost a couple of their big, glorious undrafted players, and Gabe Vincent, and of course, who else did they lose?
Max Strus.
Yeah, so Max Strus would probably be banging threes as a starting small forward for the Cavs now. You add Thomas Bryant and Josh Richardson. Does that enthuse you? That doesn't seem like a game changer to me.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate.
Yeah,
they lost Max Strus, but they still have Duncan Robinson who can fill that void.
Duncan Robinson is not good. I remember when our friend Colin tried to say that Duncan Robinson was better than Tyler Hero, and I was like, what you don't know basketball anymore. You don't know ball. That's what all the kids say, right? You don't know ball. It's like, you can't talk to me about NBA anymore, Colin.
He also said that Joe Harris was like a top 50 player or 75 player in the league. Or yes. he was a very good player.
Yeah, he can knock down a 3 or 2.
Yeah, I think he said he was the best white player.
Yes,
and we were like, what? Oh my God.
Smart guy.
Yeah, you're relying on Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry as 2 of your core rotation pieces. It's not going to work out well. They might not sneak into the play-in, and you can't sneak in and be a pesky postseason team if you don't sneak into the play-in.
All right. So what is your last intriguing thing, Sloan, that you're looking forward to see play out in the season?
I'm with you on the Thunder, man. I want to go back to the Thunder because they got some nasty talent there and a good coach, and I think they just believe in that team. They believe in the identity that they've developed. And Chet Holmgren he's quietly a very, very passionate, very, very multi-talented player. And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander on a winning team, he could be MVP. He could absolutely be MVP. He's got so much talent and so much confidence. And if they can just get a little bit better defensively, they got Jalen Williams, who I think is a very underrated perimeter defender. I think he might be on the all defensive radar by the end of the year, and not just because he racks up a lot of steals. They've got Josh Giddey, who's a very talented playmaker and has a lot of the skills that people love out of tall point guards or tall ball carriers. I'm moving back to NFL, but they just have a lot of talent, and I think that they're going to explode and move into like the probably mid 40s for wins.
2 questions, one for D really quick, and I had this argument with our friend Seamus. Josh Giddey, yay or nay on the hair? Good hair, bad hair?
Good hair. Great
Okay.
hair. Great head. Great lettuce up there. Yep.
I was the anti-Giddey hair guy. I got trashed for that. Apparently, I'm not gonna get any support on this one. And then for you, Sloan. So, like, range of outcomes in your opinion for the Thunder, at your most optimistic seed for the Thunder in the West is blank, and your most pessimistic seed for the Thunder is blank.
Optimistically, I'd say they could compete for a 4 seed and get home court at least in one round of the playoffs, which I think in Oklahoma City means something, because their fan base is awesome. That's a team. You go there, you feel the intensity of the fans behind them, and that I think they're going to get back to that. Back to the days of Westbrook being a top 5 player in the NBA and Paul George knocking down huge clutch shots for them. I think they're going to move up to that. And I think before you know it, these major television networks are going to be a little upset that they didn't put OKC in more primetime games, because that's going to be a very, very watchable team.
I don't think that's crazy. I could see Nuggets probably ahead of them, right? Suns will pencil in the Warriors. Could they finish ahead of the Timberwolves, Lakers, Clippers with injuries, Kings, Grizzlies with question marks? I don't think it's unreasonable.
I think they can finish ahead of the Warriors. The Warriors,
yeah.
I don't know. It's that they're older.
I guess like pick Warriors or Lakers. We'll put one of them ahead of them. I could see them finishing ahead of one of those potentially. Like best case, worst case, you think they could miss the play-in, or do you think they're just too talented at this point to be that low?
Well, worst case is Chet gets hurt again, and a couple of the players, maybe Giddey or Williams, don't take a step forward offensively. So that's probably worst case. But I could not see this team not competing for the play-in with Chet. I mean, they were already a team that a lot of playoff teams didn't want to see in the postseason, and now you're adding Chet to that team. To me, that seems like a very lethal team to have to go up against.
I don't know why I asked for your worst case. It's like, tell me why people are going to get hurt and suck. Like, I'll be rooting for the Thunder. It'll be a fun watch. Definitely, it'll be a league pass top 5 team to watch. That might be a good top 5 list. D top 5 league pass teams to watch.
Okay, I'll think about that one.
Put that in the memory banks for later. Let's hit those that over under segment and get some money for our people. All right. So we're going to talk a little over under season totals. We're going to go off of, I think most of us probably use some sort of sports book. I use DraftKings. You could use whatever you want to use until someone starts paying us to talk about their sports books and how we're losing money to them. We'll try to be efficient with this segment just because time. I have a really fun game that I want to play, and I know, Sloan, you have to. You might have to bounce a little early today. So I'm going to jump us right off the jump, and you guys can tell me why I'm wrong or right on this one. I'm going to go with my first over-under. I'm taking an over. I want to start optimistic. I'm going to go with my Orlando Magic. I'm a little scared about the number. I thought it would be a little lower. It's 37.5, so that's 38 wins. Last year they had 34 wins, and let me just start with this. For the months of October and November, the Magic were 5-17. They started off abysmal, young team trying to figure it out. The meat of the season, December through March, they went 28-27. They were an above 500 team for that huge chunk of the season, and then the last month they actually went to super bad tank mode, 1-4. I think what you saw over the course of the season is this Orlando Magic team develop, get older. I think they will be hovering somewhere around 500, maybe a couple games below 500 this year. I'm expecting Franz Wagner to take a huge step forward. I think this guy's a fringe all-star, if not all-star caliber player. Paolo Banchero played with Team USA this offseason. I expect him to take another step forward. I think they have a really good core. I like this Magic team. 37.5 kind of scares me because, it's a decent jump from last year, but at the same time, the East isn't as deep. And I think they can hit this mark based on their second half performance.
I don't see that being a bad thing that you're going for. I know that you're going to stick with the homer thing. Spoiler alert, same here for me. So I don't see that. I know that you're always going to talk them up. I think this might be a year that Paolo has a really good jump. I know that Sloan was saying earlier, year 3 is when you determine essentially, I think it was Trudeau. Sorry about that. Year 3 is when you determine where an NBA player is going to go. I think Paulo's here. He's here to stay. I think he's just going to continue getting better. So he may be able to carry that team, for the long haul, just to scrape over that 38 win mark. So I think he could be good on that one.
Yeah, I like the Magic. I think they need to deal a couple of pieces. They got way too many point guards. They should deal Jalen Suggs, or try to bring in a veteran that gives them a little bit more silent leadership out on the court. But
doesn't do it for you.
Suggs doesn't do it for me. But I do love Franz. I'm holding on to Franz as a keeper in my fantasy league, so definitely big on him. Very big on Paolo Banchero. And I just worry about their defense sometimes. I do like Wendell Carter as a rebounder, but I don't think he's that much of a force as a defensive presence down there. So I think that would be my issue. Plus, like you said, the East got better, so it's not going to be a cup of tea getting to the 38 win mark. But you can bet that for sure. I think that's an all right bet.
I think the one worry with them also is their front court depth. Behind Wendell Carter, there's one of the Wagner brothers, Mo Wagner, and then Batazde. I believe they have Gogo Batazde. No, some Batazde guy. So yeah, we'll see. I'm debating betting that over. I still haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I think I have to do it for the home squad. So Sloan, let me give your first over under.
All right. Which one do I want to go with? Which one do I like the most?
Positive. Give me an over. Someone you feel good about. Let's start with the positive vibes. Good vibes only.
All right. Well, I guess I'll say over on the Bulls.
Whoa!
And a lot of people don't like that one, but let's talk about how Zach LaVine took a step forward at the end of last season. He is going to continue to have that high usage rate, and I think he is going to ball out and be an all NBA player this year. I also think you're going to see DeMar DeRozan take the last second shots again this year because he is the clutch guy on that team, and they lost a lot of close games last year. The year before, they won a lot of close games because they went to DeRozan. And I also think that the Nuggets proved last year that if you bring in some small pieces, some lesser known, not household names that can improve the core identity of your team, you are going to produce a lot more wins. So they brought in Javon Carter, Torrey Craig, two guys that I think are big difference makers. Javon Carter is a great creator, great playmaker. He can get you a couple steals a game. And I think he will fill that void that they've had at point guard for many years now. And I think you're also going to get a lot of great perimeter defense from Torrey Craig and the occasional clutch shot from him because he's played for many years on many good teams. And they, even some of the best teams in the league have gone to him as their starting small forward because he is very talented. You got good rebounding off the bench with Dremo. And I think Vucevic is one of the more underrated centers. I think he can get you 11 rebounds in his sleep, and he's knocking down threes for them sometimes. Hopefully he doesn't take too many threes, because sometimes I think they fall in love with that. I want to see him banging down low a little bit more. But yeah, I like the Bulls over 37.5. Come on, 37.5 is nothing. They can hit that easy.
I would say, like, first of all, you ruined one of my is he still in the league? Because Andre Drummond was one I was going to ask. I didn't know if he's one of those.
That was too easy.
Yeah, that might have been an easy one, but he's one of those guys where it's like, is he actually a good basketball player, or is he just good at getting rebounds? But I digress. The one thing with the Bulls is, like, their plague has been the 3-point shot and spacing the floor, and I don't know if they've addressed that issue with DeRozan, and then Vucevic. They think Vucevic is a big who can shoot. That's not him anymore. I think he shoots below 35% at this point from the 3-point line. So I don't know.
He was above 30. Come on, he was above 30.
I'll look it up.
He had a couple of bad months at the end of this.
I will look it up what his season stat was while D talks. D, you pumped. You gave me a fist bump.
Right. Well, I gave a fist bump because he chose the Bulls, and you were talking about Zach LaVine being an all-NBA player. So I'm a big fan of that. Trudeau's always going to talk shit about Vucevic, so it doesn't matter what you do and how much you pump up his stats.
I loved him.
He's all when he was a Magic, he was all for him, but now he left. He says that he's the worst center in the league. So
Vucevic,
that always happens when we do this.
He is. You go to the mall, they have those glass things that they go in circles to go in and out, the revolving door. That's his defensive strategy. He's a revolving door.
All right. Just because you did the homer, I'm gonna stick with the homer as well on this one. I don't care if it's 47.5. I'm going over with the Lakers. The reason why I'm going over, and yeah, you can give me all the looks that you want. LeBron James played at an MVP level the way he finished last season. Anthony Davis is going to be, for what I believe, with what he's done in the offseason, a perennial NBA or MVP player again. They got more depth, obviously. They got Vanderbilt coming back, but they picked up Christian Wood, Torian Prince, which are going to be able to spill AD whenever he gets a chance, or anybody from the wing position. And then we slept on, the additions of Rui Hachimura and the, I would say, increased volume from Austin Reeves. This team is deep. And you might joke around. They got to the Western Conference Finals. LeBron James and AD have the ability of staying healthy because they don't have to have as much, I would say, on their plate. You joke around, but look what happened post-trade deadline last year. They were the best team in the NBA. And now that they have this team, I would say, fit for the long haul, regular season and postseason, I think that they could be a 50-win team. And that's not just a homer thing. That's just where they're at talent-wise right now.
To close the loop on our previous discussion, Nikola Vucevic shot 34.9% from three last year. So not a great 3-point shot. And 31% the year before. So I don't know.
You said he's not a 35% shooter. He was
he is 0.01 below.
0.01.
I was right. Exactly. He's not a 35% 3-point shooter.
If we bet on that, I would throw up.
That's a bad beat if I ever heard one. D, I'm going to go first and counter you because my next pick was going to be Lakers under 7.5. And I'm going to tell you exactly why you're wrong. Mm-hmm. I think the big factor here, and you casually just roll over like, oh yeah, of course they'll be healthy, is health. They had a great second half last year. They also had one of the easiest back half schedules in the NBA the second half of the season. So they were killing teams. They were killing bad teams. Not only they were bad teams, D, but they were bad teams actively trying to lose to get Wembanyama. So factor that in.
Yeah.
Games played over the past couple seasons. 2020 for LeBron, 45, 56, 55. So LeBron's pretty consistent, 55. I will give LeBron 55 games. So he's going to miss, what is that, 28 games? AD from 2020, 36 games, 40 games, 56 games. You tell me what number is the anomaly there. Because I'll tell you, last year, while he only played 56 games, that's a real high number for AD at this point in his career. I think that you cannot expect him to be as healthy this year. And I'm going to fade the Lakers because I think that LeBron's getting up there in age. He cannot play 56 games, 35 minutes a night. And I am worried that AD is not going to be there and healthy for the season.
I am again, I'm not going to say annoyed, but just getting to the spot where, you said, at this point in his career, Anthony Davis is legit in his prime. He's 30 years old. This is when you are at like your best NBA, like between 28 and 32. And you said at this point of his career, I don't know if he could stay healthy. Like, if there's a time for him to be able to stay healthy, it's now. Like, out of any time of it, like, obviously when he's like 18, 19 years old, but like, this is where he's full formed into like his position that he's going to be 6'10, 250 pounds. Like, he's going to be fit going into the season.
I meant like sample size from like the previous 3 to 4 seasons. I just can't trust AD's health. Well, we're obviously split on this. So Sloan,
Here's the moderator right here.
are you going to take the over or the under on the LA Lakers? 47.5.
I'm going under because, and not because I think the Lakers are not.
I don't know where that came from.
It's not because I think the Lakers haven't improved, because they definitely did improve. Rob Pelinka's moves, like at the deadline, were major. I mean, he made amazing moves for that team, and they went 18-8 after the deadline. So I mean, I'm not saying that they're not better, but I'm saying that they proved to themselves that they don't need to win 50 games to make a run at the title. So why would they risk, getting a 34% usage rate for a 39-year-old LeBron James during the regular season if they don't need to? Why would they risk putting AD out there for 38, 40 minutes a game when he seems to get hurt every other game? He falls on the floor, and it's, as a former Anthony Davis fantasy owner, it's very nerve-wracking rooting for that team and rooting for Anthony Davis, because you always think that he has suffered a grave injury, and then he's like back out. I'm like, what in the world is going on with this guy? It's like somebody's got a voodoo doll up in the rafters. Like, but I do think that they're still a little top heavy when it comes to get me a bucket. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be LeBron and AD. And I still think you're going to see LeBron take plenty of days off. He is in the exception to the NBA's player participation policy. He's played a ton of games, and he's way over 35. So he doesn't need to play back-to-backs. He doesn't need to play when it's a primetime game. So I think he's still going to probably see 55 to 65 games tops. And I don't think they'll be gunning for a top 4 seed or anything like that. The West got better, and the Lakers, they're just going to go for it once they get to the postseason. It's going to be the same as last year, and hopefully they'll be healthy enough to make another run, because I think the NBA is better with a good Lakers team. But I think the best chance that they'll have at making a postseason run is not going for 48 wins in the regular season.
The only reason why I would counter this, and I think great points, right? Like they are a playoff-based team. They get to the playoffs. That's when they're going to make their noise. The reason why I counter it with the talent that they have now, or the players that they have on their team, they don't have to worry about not winning 50 games. Like, Austin Reeves isn't going to go out there and be like, oh, well, we can just make the playoffs. No, he's a dog. He's going to try to go out there and win games. He's going to take clutch shots. He's going to try to get 30, 40 points per game if you give him the ball. Then you have people that can get a revitalization. D'Angelo Russell, he's still playing for D'Lo. He's still playing for contracts, right? So like, there's people that still need to try to show themselves and not just ride the wave to the playoffs and hope that we can win. When AD and LeBron get spilled, Rui Hachimura, you got D'Lo, you have Austin Reeves, Christian Wood, who's going to be coming off of obviously trying to find his way with that team. You got the Gabe Vincent. These are all guys that aren't just like a team that like, yeah, we could just middle. Like they're guys that like want to win. And like, that's what I think is going to get them over that hump when you do have AD or LeBron missing time. It's not just a team that's just like, oh, well, we'll wait till they come back. It's guys that want to prove that they can actually be superstars.
I just think D'Lo and Christian Wood are two of the worst defenders in the league. So that's not a selling point.
There's no defense in the regular season, though. What you're talking about, that's postseason, which is why D'Lo lost time in the postseason. I'm talking regular season, which is they're just going to try to score, get buckets. And I think in the regular season, that's more beneficial when you have depth versus when you don't, and you can just play the game of trying, get to that 4th, 5th, 6th seed, and it doesn't matter.
I'll tell you one thing, though, D, you're going to like this. I like the Lakers plus 1,200 to win the NBA championship, better than I like them to win 48 wins this regular season.
Good
I like that.
compromise.
I like that.
All
It
right.
makes sense. I like it.
And speaking of like the playoffs, like the one thing I'm curious to see is like who is Rui Hachimura? Is he playoff Rui, or is he the 2 years we've seen of Rui before that? Sloan, give me your second and last favorite over under for this upcoming season.
Let's see here. All right. Did I already tell you about Dallas and how I think they're under? Yeah, we already talked about
we can do another one.
So let's talk about the Raptors. The Raptors lost Fred VanVleet. So everybody seems to think that they are going to lose 50 games this year. I don't think so. I think they got a lot better when they brought Jakob Poeltl over to the team. They had a 600 winning percentage after Poeltl came over. And I think OG Anunoby is going to take a step forward this year. I think Scotty Barnes is going to take a step forward. I think Dennis Schroeder is a very, very underrated offseason move for that team. And I think they needed a coaching change. I think the team is bought in now that Nurse is gone, because Nurse, he was running those players into the ground, playing them like 42 minutes a game in the regular season. The complete opposite of what Darvin Ham and the Lakers did. He was trying to kill him out there. And they're like, Jesus Christ, this is not like 1980s NBA. What are you trying to run us into the ground for? But the Raptors, 36.5. You're going to tell me you're going to over under for the Raptors at 36.5? I'm pounding that over all day. There's way too much talent on that team, and they could still make a trade maybe and get even better. So I think if they show in the first 25, 30 games that they're a legitimate playoff contender, then they will make a move and they will get better. So I am in on the over for the Raptors.
For the podcast audience, I was very ecstatic while Sloan was giving that over under. I was throwing on the screen my sheet of notes for the show, and I also had the Raptors over 36.5. So
it was very confusing to me what you were doing there while I was talking, but it's like, okay.
Sloan was going back and forth trying to make his point and read at the same time. Like, what the hell is Trudeau doing?
I'm with you. Look, it's in paper. It's in paper. I took the over as well. I will let D get into his thoughts. Just one additional point to add to your great summary of why you should take the over. They don't own their first round pick this year, guys. Like, they don't have an incentive to be like, let's suck. I mean, it is top 6 protected. I will say that, but like if they find themselves where they're just out of the play, and it's like, do we want to tank and potentially not get a pick out of it, or should we just keep fighting forward and try to get into the play-in bubble? I think I love the over on this team. I personally bet the over this team and parlayed it with something else as well. I love this pick, D. Are you on board? Are you going to jump on the Raptor train?
I think it's a smart one. I think what you just basically went over on how people could take that next step. I'm kind of iffy on Scotty Barnes. I think he's a phenomenal talent, but did he peak already? That's my thing. It's like he had such an incredible rookie season. It's like, I know he took a step back last year. Let's hope that he can move forward. That's a big jump for him. But like, I think I like the additions. I think Schroeder, especially for what he did in the Olympics, is a big addition. Not the Olympics, but essentially what he did was it the Olympics just now? Wasn't the Olympics?
It was the Euro.
That was FIBA.
Thank you. I know it wasn't just the actual, but yeah, I think he's a great addition no matter where he goes. He was the same thing when he was in LA, and I think he's going to be a big addition for them in Toronto.
All right, D. So let's close this out, D. What is your last over under?
Yeah, I was gonna throw one for an under, but I'm gonna keep the positivity for this one. I'm actually going Pacers. Pacers over 38.5. I don't know why, but like, people are sleeping on Tyrese Halliburton's skills, and like, that kid is talented. I think they have obviously a really good point guard in him, and it's not just him. They got Benedict Mathurin, who had a phenomenal season last year. Don't know what's going to go on, obviously, with Miles Turner. So like, that's a big, like, cloud that's up there if he gets moved or whatnot. But you got the three between him, you got Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Mathurin. I think that's a really good wing to guard combo when it comes to just getting buckets and playmaking. They added Obi Toppin, so they're going to have some, fun in the paint when it comes to throwing lobs and whatnot. But I like this team getting to at least 500. 42 and 42. 41 and 41. I could see them finishing. So I would take the over for them for this.
Sloan, you on board with that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Halliburton fan. But yeah, I do like that Pacers team a lot if they can stay healthy and they play enough defense. I think there's a lot of young talent, so I kind of wonder if they do hold on to Miles Turner, I think they do have a shot. Yeah, I'm with it. I love Tyrese Halliburton. I love this team. I love the potential that they have down there.
All right, now that we're done talking about over-unders, let's make our bets for the week, our NFL/college football bets for the week. Sloan, you can feel free to critique them all you want, buddy. Let's get it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money.
That's right. It's time for us to make you lose some money. If you're betting with D, that is. Good week for Team Steve last week. 2-1 week. I'm actually Sloan. Hear this out. Bets placed on this show, not on my actual account. I am 8-1 in the past 3 weeks. I am on a heater right now. D, tough one for you last week.
Struggling, man, struggling. But I think I've learned my lesson. I'm staying away from college football moving forward. I'm just going to stick to the NFL because I can't seem to hit anything for the college game.
All right, so let's get right into it. D, you can give a little synopsis afterwards, whether you like or not, 30 seconds, whether we're good or not good. My 3 picks, by the way, I'm 9-6 right now as a total for the season. My first pick, I'm taking Tampa -2.5 home against Atlanta. For me, it's like I don't trust the Atlanta offense. I know they have a great running game with Bijan. I just can't get behind Ritter. Tampa, you're probably getting some points shaved away because of the way they looked against the Lions. I just like them at home. I still think Tampa's a decent team with their weapons. I'll give the 2.5 points. It's under a field goal, so like I'm not worried about losing by a field goal. 2.5. Sloan, what do you think?
I'm with it. I think Tampa's defense is a little underrated. I think Tampa's held itself pretty well despite the Mike Evans injury. It was battling. Tampa was battling even with Philadelphia. So I think that they will definitely take care of Atlanta. Atlanta is not an impressive. Atlanta not an impressive squad to me. And yes, I just started a points league draft at 9:30. Here we go, baby.
Oh gosh.
Drafting mid-show. That is skill, man. Multitasking.
Let me know who you get for the first pick, though, when you make that. I'm curious. My second gambling pick, I am going to take the Rams home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, -3 at home. I think this is just one of those where the Rams offense is too strong, too much firepower. Pittsburgh, their offensive all year has been abysmal. They just got a big win. I don't know if they had a bye last week, but they just got a big win against the Ravens, and it was all defense. I think the Rams at home, they just will have too many points on the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers to compete. I'm not worried about the field goal because I think it's going to be like a touchdown game. Sloan, yay or nay? We bet in that one?
Yeah, I'm with it. I would probably shave it down to like
2.5.
maybe 2.5 just to get that field goal win in case that's how it ends. But yeah, I think Pittsburgh, despite having the extra week off to prepare for this game, I mean they're flying cross country to defend Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell, and if he's healthy, Kyron Williams has been running and balling out this year. So I think Pittsburgh's looked good defensively against poor throwing teams, and the Rams are not that. The Rams are a high-quality passing offense, and I think they will take care of this one.
My last one, I'm getting spicy. I always wanted a spicy one. It bit me in the ass last week with the Buccaneers. That was my spicy pick. My spicy pick this week, I'm taking the Chargers +5.5 at Kansas City. This is just a gut play for me. My gut says the Chargers are due for a bounce back. I thought Herbert looked pretty good. Kansas City, outside of Travis Kelce, their offense hasn't been that great. I don't know. I just something's pulling me to the Chargers. I saw shaking head. Sloan, you think the Chiefs will cover that 5.5 spread?
I don't think I would bet it either way personally, but the Chargers have been choke artists a lot lately. I was not impressed with their game against Dallas and against Kansas City. I just want to be able to buy into that.
By the way, for the people listening on podcast, Sloan is indeed in the middle of a fantasy draft right now. Sloan, what pick do you have?
11 out of 12. It's the worst.
You make your pick yet?
I got Giannis, Kevin Durant, or Anthony Edwards.
Kevin Durant. Unless you're going to punt.
That's what I'm doing.
Free throw. Interesting. All right, D. By the way, that's just amazing. He's multitasking that well. D, what do you got for me with your picks this week?
So I like actually 2 out of the 3 picks that you had. Just to recap it too, I would have stayed away from that KC and
I know.
LA game personally, but I did like the Bucks one. It's one that I thought about taking, especially because Desmond really looked like absolute dog shit. It's just the Bucks looked like the Bucks last week, which made me go ugh because it was against the Lions. But not bad picks, and I think that Rams one is an easy one, especially because the Steelers. I don't think that they're really good offense. But since you go Bucks, I'm going Saints. Short week for the Jags, obviously with T-Law being potentially injured. I'm going with the Saints. Give me the -1. I think that they could win this one with that, just straight up, with it being a field goal, 4-point or a 7-point game. Just an easy win for them because Trevor Lawrence is a little nicked up. And if they have a backup going in, that Saints defense is actually pretty decent. And Alvin Kamara is actually looking really good post the suspension too. So I think that should be a handful for them to take care of. You want to give your feedback on that one? I think Sloan's picking his pick.
Get that Kevin Durant pick down. I'm worried about the Saints just because they've been looking a little suspect. I know they beat the Patriots, they smacked the Patriots, but that's what everyone does. I think University of Georgia could go smack the Patriots right now. Man, that one's. I looked at that one. It scares me mostly because the Jaguars have looked excellent the past couple of weeks. But I know you guys stick with your boys, ride or die. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, keep it personal for that one. But again, it's more so because T-Law is hurt. He's not 100%. You just don't know how he's going to react on a short week, something like that. I think so. It's not a thing. Second pick. What a season this team is having. So I'm going Browns -2.5. Give the Colts the points. Anthony Richardson is done for the season. Gardner Minshew, I think he's not going to have his hands full with that defensive line. The Browns defensively are causing fits for everybody, and it was prime example for what they were able to accomplish against their most recent opponent, which was Niners. Yeah. I'm not saying that the injuries weren't playing a big case. McCaffrey was out, Debo kind of got nicked up. It happens, but the Colts, they're not really a high-powered offense. JT coming back. Yeah, they have Zach Moss, but Pittman not really doing much. I think you're going to see a lot of issues caused right up the middle and the Browns defense. So give the Colts the 2 points. I think that they could try to chip away with this one.
Yeah, and I'll say before you get in, Sloan, it's the line is 2, so I'll give you the 2 points on DraftKings. Did you have a comment on that one there, buddy?
No, I think the Browns are gonna destroy Gardner Minshew. I think he's gonna have a tough time in that pocket all game. I think what was it that Robert Saleh of the Jets recently said that they've faced multiple strong quarterbacks and made them all look bad. I think the Browns have made quarterbacks look even worse. I mean, Brock Purdy is top 6 in MVP odds before that Browns game, and they made him look awful. They made him look like he doesn't belong in the league
on the road.
So the Browns are a really scary defense, and Gardner Minshew II is in for a rude awakening.
Now, are you guys making this bet with the thought process that you're not going to have Deshaun Watson? It's going to be PJ Washington?
I don't care who's out there for quarterback. Okay. I think their defense is really good.
Deshaun Watson better get his butt back out there because he got cleared to play 2 weeks ago. So I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's clearly a head case. But I think if PJ Walker or whatever the heck his name, Philip Walker, can beat the Niners, I think he can beat the Colts too.
Okay, so we got 2 picks. UD, what's your last one?
Last but not least, I hate throwing this one out there because I'm team Baltimore, but give me the Lions +3. I don't know why this line is like this. It's almost like people are not believing that the Lions are one of the best teams in the NFC. Jared Goff is playing really well. I know Ty Montgomery, got a little bit nicked up, but St. Brown was able to return. Jameson Williams, another flash, athletic wide receiver that they have. and the defense is playing really good. So I think they'll give him fits. Lamar's going to do Lamar things. It just might be a costly turnover at home that may potentially bite them in the ass. But the Lions are consistent, and Dan Campbell is coaching his ass off right now. So if the Lions are getting 3 points, I don't care if it's on the road. I think they could just flat out win this game.
I have a feeling this was going to end up in a push watch. It's going to be a Ravens win by 3. I will say this, like, as someone who bet on the Ravens this week, I watched the game very intently in London. They were fine. They were looking to lose that game. They had a huge lead. I think it was 18-3 going into half or something like that. And they were just looking for reasons to lose the games. Lines have looked great. I like that pick. I should have probably taken that when I was debating it. It's a good one.
Yeah, the Lions have the best rushing defense in the NFL. So Ravens are a running team. And I just think the Lions are just so elite at so many different levels. And like you said, D, they're buying into that coaching staff. So that's a good culture around that team. And all the people that didn't buy into the Lions in the preseason, they're biting their tongue now.
6-0 week?
That'd be dope if we went 6-0.
I like it. All right, guys, I need your help for this one. So we're getting into our last segment, which is I'm excited to play Still in the League. But first, before we get into the actual segment, I need you to help me out, D. Sloan, you can pitch in as well. I have a couple options for our potential music for this game. Now, I have a couple here. Do you like this one? Let me know which one will you go with. I don't like that one. No.
Not bad. That one.
This is it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to America's favorite game. Are they still in the league? I'm your host, Trudeau. We have 2 contestants today, Sloan Piva of Sporting News and D himself. This is how the game works, fellas. I'm going to give you a list, one by one, of journeymen, guys that were, picked high, didn't pan out, or maybe were picked high and fizzled out. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Are they still in the NBA? Are they on an NBA roster as of today? Sloan, since you're the guest, I'll start with you. We're going to start with a player. Let's find a good one to start with. All right. I'm wearing the Orlando Magic jersey. This guy was crushing it for the Orlando Magic for a couple of years. We sent him packing last year. We said, you can have a chance to win a championship with the Suns. Terrence Ross, is he still in the league?
Terrence Ross. He should be. I would say yes. No, he's not in the league. Well, he's just unsigned. He's an unsigned free agent, right?
Yes, he is not on an NBA roster as of today. A week before the season, Terrence Ross is unsigned.
Bummer.
No points. All right, D, it's your chance to seal the lead.
Oh, boy.
I got one for you. Mr. Bubble himself tore it up in the NBA bubble. Played a little bit with the Nets last year, I want to say. Right, he went with KD and Kyrie. Mr. Bubble, TJ Warren, is he in the league?
Past Pacers, went to the Nets. He was injured last year. You usually don't get cut post-injury, so I'm going to say yes.
I know that one. He played for the Suns, but they didn't bring him back.
0-0.
Damn.
Yeah, not in the league anymore, or he's not signed right now.
He got passed over by Yuta Watanabe.
Montana Manabe.
All right, Sloan, this is a good one.
Wow.
I'm trying to give you a little bit of a harder ones. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say everyone. I'll say everyone's favorite prospect player. Played for Detroit, played for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Lots of high-flying energy. Hamidou Diallo. Is he still in the league?
Hamidou Diallo. I want to call him Diablo because that would be so much cooler.
That would be badass.
I'm trying to think. I think he played for the Pistons last, and
He did.
I think he made an appearance somewhere else. But I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's signed by anybody.
Correct.
Ah,
He's young. He's like 25 years old. I was surprised to see
put him on the board. Maybe they'll just stick him in the dunk contest just to give him something to do.
All right, I'm gonna give this one to D because I feel like Sloan might know this one. Former Boston Celtic, played for the German team in the FIBA World Cup. Daniel Tice, is he still in the league?
I saw his name because he was in the FIBA. I'm gonna say no. Who the hell does he play for?
He is on the Indiana Pacers, who you really loved.
Ooh. How far down the depth chart is he? Because I don't even think I saw him.
Probably
He's like the 10th or 11th man.
My goodness.
I think these guys are all like these guys are all end of the bench guys.
Yeah, I get that.
All right, Sloan, got one for you. I think he was like he was a lottery pick for the Knicks. I don't know where he was, top 10. Point guard from France, parlez-vous français, Frank Ntilikina.
Oh, Frankie Siggs.
Frankie Siggs.
I think he last played for Dallas or Charlotte. He might still be on Charlotte, actually, because Charlotte doesn't have much depth to be cutting people. So I'm going to take a wild guess and say that he still plays in the league.
You were right, but unfortunately, the team. I mean, you just look at the point, but not there. He's in on the Hornets now.
Yeah, Charlotte. I said Charlotte.
You said
Oh,
Charlotte.
I'm not paying attention. Apparently, it's been a long day.
You said that team was going to win 500 games.
I'm also doing a
500
draft. All right, D. So I think it's
He's in the middle of a draft. Like he could just sit. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, and it's an effective field goal percentage league. Like that's such a random category to have.
I don't like that. D, you're up. I think it's. Do you have a point, D? I have 0 written on.
I'm 0 for 2.
Oh God! All right, let's get you back in the game. This is a fun one. Kia slam dunk champion, multi-time All-Star, one-time Boston Celtic.
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. Is he still in the league?
Oh, he's not on the Celtics anymore. I don't think he got signed this offseason. I'm going to go with no. That's sad.
Surprised no one wants his ability to take charges. I think he led the league in charges.
All he does now. He's got no athleticism, unfortunately.
He's like 32 years old. I think he's younger than me. Jesus Christ. What happens? All right, Sloan. It's a good one for you. Do you remember a guy who got drafted out of Kentucky for the Knicks? And he had a preseason, I remember in his first preseason, his rookie preseason, and everyone's like, this is the guy. And nah. Kevin Knox II. Is he still in the league?
He shouldn't be. One time I did a high-end card break, and I got the only auto that I got was Kevin Knox. So I was like, what are we doing here? I'll say no. I don't think he's in the league anymore.
Hey, your card still might be valuable. He might turn it around. He's with the Portland Trail.
Portland? Yeah, Portland. That's like
out of nowhere.
D. Let's see. This is a fun one. Providence College grad, top 4 pick, actually. Lots of hype for this guy. Chris Dunn. Is he still in the league?
I only remember him being on the Bulls.
Is he still in the league, or is he done?
I feel like I don't remember seeing him being annoying in 2K. But I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say he's somewhere random like Milwaukee, but like I have no idea that he's there.
He's also somewhere random. Utah Jazz, and he actually might get like decent playing time this year because their backcourt's pretty thin.
Nice. Yeah, I remember Chris Dunn. Good for him.
All right, we're tied up 2-2. Sloan,
Hey,
for you. Former champion Golden State Warrior, former Laker, Juan Toscano Anderson. Is he still in the league? Oh, my music stopped. That's sad.
Juan Toscano Anderson. So he last played for
Bubble Lakers.
Utah or no, the Lakers. Yep. I don't think he's still in the league. I don't think the Lakers held on to him, and I don't think for some reason Utah's popping in my head, but I don't think he's over there either. All right,
Not in the league. All right. We'll do two more. Two for D, one for Sloan, because you went first, Sloan. We'll see who we end up. We'll do tiebreaker if we're tied up. Let's see. All right, D. You sent me an Instagram clip this offseason. This guy talking about how the salary cap's new rules are bad for the mid-level players, complaining and blah 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 blah. Coach's son, Austin Rivers, former Dookie. Is he still in the league?
If he's talking about salaries and he doesn't play for the Clippers, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say he's not on an NBA team right now.
I feel like that may have hinted you to it. Yeah, no, not in the league. Not in the league. All right, 3-3, one each. Then we'll go tiebreaker on a good one. All right, Sloan, for you. This guy was drafted by the Miami Heat, and everyone was like, "Oh, what a steal! Miami Heat's got someone here." Never really lived up to potential. Always hurt. Justice Winslow. Is he still around in the league?
I like Justice Winslow too. So I've picked him up a couple of times on my deep dynasty league just to fill in late, end of seasons and stuff. I know he last played for Portland, but hopefully I don't make this same mistake twice. I don't think he's still in the league. The suspense. When you reach for that button, the suspense is killing me.
Not in the league. So, D, the score is 4-3. You need this to tie to force overtime. Are you ready?
Let's get it.
LeBron got this guy the bag after their championship run in Cleveland. Former Kardashian lover, Tristan Thompson. Is he still in the league?
No, he's an anchor on the NBA TV.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's on a roster still?
Lakers?
He's on the Cavs, and guess what, guys? With Jared Allen out, he might see the floor. This
He's a roster player. Like, he's literally on the Kardashian show because my wife watches it, and he's on like NBA like mid afternoon TV. Like every episode. Get a life. No, he's not a life. He's an NBA player.
And that concludes this week's edition of Still in the League. Guys, that was a fun show. No closing takes today because we just ran the clock up. We're in double overtime right now, and Sloan's like in round 4 of a dynasty.
Round 6 of his draft.
Now we in round 5, baby.
I wasn't far off.
I thought we were gonna go an hour, but we went an hour and a half. You know what? It's all good. My team, I need to kind of pick it up a little bit, but we had a good time. It was worth it.
draft Tristan Thompson. He's still in the league. Terrible. Draft that guy. Sloan, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming talking basketball with us. I apologize on the front end for not having you give us all the information, all the socials, where to follow you, where to get your stuff. Can you please do it on the back end for us?
Yeah, please give me a follow at Sloan Piva. That's SLOAN PIVA. And you can find our updated fantasy basketball cheat sheet and all my fantasy basketball information over on Sporting News. Just look up my name, Sloan Piva, Sporting News. I'm right there. I got a lot of fantasy football stuff too, as well as some best bets each week. I'm just like Trudeau. My bets have been rolling lately. I went 11-4 last week, so let's make some money together.
You know what's not fun, D, is I have to do a fantasy draft with this man tomorrow. He's already done about 15,000 basketball fantasy drafts. He does sports writing for a living, and I'm going to get smoked. So I'm going to do it from my bed watching like John Oliver or something.
Well, I
You're
mean,
always in it, man. You're always in every single league. So I don't even know what you're talking about.
Managing. It's about being a scrappy manager. I'm like who am I? I'm like the Steelers of fantasy. Like I'm not very good, but I'll be 500 by the end of the year. You watch.
Yep.
You
yep.
watch.
always fighting.
Always fighting. D, this was a fun show. I will let you get people out of here the way you do.
Hey man, again, one more big shouts to Sloan Piva jumping in with us, man. I appreciate every time you come here. The knowledge that you have, the experience that you have, it's next level, it's top notch. Keep doing what you're doing because you're always welcome here whenever you want to. Just hit us up and we got you. For those that are listening to us live, thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate y'all being here on another late night, especially for a Tuesday. But hit us up tomorrow. You can find us up on the socials. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify or wherever you find your podcast. Hit us up on the socials such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, obviously, _Frizz5. You can find your boy. You can follow me with GBA action. We got the league going on with 2K24. We finally here. Also find us on our website, www.frizzandthegrizz.com. One of these days, my co-host is going to put some merch on there. I don't know when, but one of these days he might. Please, 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 y'all, take care of y'all mentals. Make sure y'all take care of y'all physicals. Be safe out there so you can take care of y'all chicken, take care of y'all children, and we'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.
They got a website that you can hire girlfriends for the day.